morning and welcome. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that is here in the UK. Thank you for joining me. It's Monday the 11th of August 2025, a beautiful sunshiny day. I'm slightly worried because outside of my house I see some telephone engineers which always fills me with a little bit of dread. They're not due to do anything for my house, but there's always the risk that whatever they do next door might affect our live stream. So fingers crossed we get through this in one piece as it is. Hope you had a great weekend. We have a new stamp set of the week and it is called Perfectly Pears. This suite is called Painterly Pears. Now I'm completely confused. Doesn't take much on a Monday morning. But this is a product from our online exclusive range. So you won't see it in a catalogue. And it consists of a stamp set, there are dies, there are some beautiful papers, there are also some embellishments and some gold ribbon. It's mossy meadow and gold that goes with this perfectly. So what we're going to do is use this for our stamp set of the week. So we'll just be using this to start with, and let's see how we get on. I haven't used this stamp set yet, as you will see. So I'm just going to do a little bit of playing with some of the stamps and then I'll make a card. Having seen the papers, I'm very tempted to make this one of our class in a box sets. So here are the stamps. We have an outline pair and an outline pair of pairs. And then we have an infill that you can use, or you could use your own colouring mechanism. The same with this one here. We have a set of little leaves with a stalk and again an infill. There are some flowers, some flower centres. There's a little bit of sort of dottage, which is quite useful for doing a little bit of shading. And then there are 5 sentiments. Congratulations, hello, thank you, and a good friend is a gift. The actual stamps are bigger than you see on the front. So I think this is 95%, so just 5% bigger basically. And you can do it as a 2-step stamp, so an outline and then an infill. You can also use just the infill on their own, which I'm going to show you. So it makes it a good combination for coffee and card, because there's lots of different opportunities for stamping and colouring. So good morning to you, Caroline. So there are some dies that go with this. I'll be using these later in the week. Let me just open these up really quickly. So there are dies that cut out the main elements. There are 2 sentiment labels, tags, and there's a set of 5 flowers and a set of flowers that are connected, and also a separate stalk with some detail, if you can see the detail on there, and this useful sort of little hash piece. So I'll be using those later in the week. Let me show you the papers because they are really stunning, and even if you're not madly into pears, which I have to say I'm not, the papers are lovely on both sides. So there are 12 by 12 papers, as you can see. So we've got this one here with a petal pink background, and the reverse of that is Secret Sea with a check effect. Then we have one of those that everybody says they don't know what to do with, but they're so easy to use to make 6 cards, just cut it into, cut it in half and then cut it in panels. So you get 2 of those, and the reverse of that is a little petal pink with a small floral design. We then have this one, and this matches the dies. So what I like about this is that they've spaced it really well so that you can cut out all of these individual items. So you've got the set of 3 flowers, you've got the pears, you've got the set of 2 pears, you've got the stalk here, all of which can be cut out with those dies. The reverse of that is this beautiful set of greenery. We then had this one with Secret Sea backing and Darling Duckling, so a nice deep yellow for the front. And then we have this one, which you could cut out with an oval or something if you wanted to make a sort of centerpiece of that. And then on the back you've got this really pretty little yellow flowers. And then we've got this one here with the basic beige backing. I haven't got any lights on, so I'm hoping the light is okay. And then Mossy Meadow in the background. So some beautiful papers. Probably wouldn't help if I didn't have a stack of things to my right. So those are the papers, and they are called Painterly Pears, and the colours are Basic Beige, Darling Duckling, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Petal Pink and Secret Sea, as I think I called out on the way. So these papers are $11.75 for the pack, but because they include some of our in colours for this month, they're actually on offer at 15% off for the month of August 2025. So they're $9.99 for the pack. And especially for my coffee and card attendees, if you wanted to buy a pack between 2 of you, that's absolutely fine, in which case they would be basically £5 for half the pack, and that's still 6 12 by 12 sheets, so that's less than £1 per sheet. Okay, so let's have a go at a quick card. As you can see, I haven't used these at all. I am going to give them a quick run over with my cleaning cloth. And if you watch this subsequent to the live and you think it would be a good class in a box, do let me know. Okay, so I'm going to grab the large pear, the outline pear, and the stalk, outline, stalk and leaves infill. Just going to start with those to begin with. And I've just got a piece of plain basic white thin card. And let's grab, just going to do a couple of sample stampings so you can see how it's going to look and then decide which elements you would like to use. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to use espresso outline. You could use a dark green, so old olive or garden green, something like that. So I'm just going to stamp that on its own, like so. And let's going to use old olive. Pear Pizzazz, of course, which was one of my favourite greens, would have been the perfect pear colour. Okay, so this is the plain piece of the pear, if you like so. So if you put those two together, oops, make sure I'm not too far off the bottom, sorry. I suspect my camera's probably moved this week. So So I'm just going to stamp this roughly in line. Hopefully I've got it fairly close. Well, close but not no cigar. It's close enough. Okay, now one thing you can do is if you do that and it's slightly off, is you can take another green or yellow, let me just clean that off, and stamp over this. I need to take my glasses off, that's probably where I went wrong. To get that sort of multicoloured effect. If you can see now the difference between those two. And the other option is, and there's so many different variations of pear of course, is if I just stamp this first on its own, what you can do is then go back in with a sponge dauber. I had to dig mine out because I haven't used them for so long. And you can do this to an extent with a blending brush, but you'll get a slightly better effect with ink via the sponge dauber. So you can add some colour to that. So this is Lemon Lime Twist. I've added a little bit of Old Olive and I can just stamp over that. Hi Kerry, good evening to you. So there's that effect. And then if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of a pink, so strawberry slush or something like that. I've got a little bit of real red just to hand, that will do. Or here's Woody back from his morning session. So I can just add a little bit of this, and I want to do this sort of in this area here, so I'm just going to add that in the middle. Just to give it a little bit of a blush, and pop that on there. Like that. So if you can see that, so it's got a little bit of colour added on to it. So you can either use the outline or you can use just the pear, the infill if you like. Let's do the same with the little set of leaves. Let's not lose that one. So I've got an outline. Let's try the outline this time in, this is Old Olive. So just do a couple, and obviously you could use your blends pens just to colour these in. So if you're keen on colouring, then that would be potentially the way to go. If you don't like colouring, then using the infill from this two-step stamping would be a great way forward. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to stamp this set of leaf on its own, and then I can use that to infill. That leaf there, like so. And if I wanted to, I could add a little bit of texture and colour with my sponge dauber. So these come, as I seem to remember, in packs of 5, and obviously you can use them straight onto your card as well. So there's a little bit more detail on there. Let's pop it on this one. Like so. So it just gives a little bit more shading to that. And I can do the same. Let's just add a bit along the edges for this one here. So your choice entirely, which makes it good for coffee and card. You can use the outline. You can also cut the pears from the paper. You can fussy cut them. You can use the dies that match them as well. So lots of different options with this. It makes a great product for coffee and card, because not everybody will want to do it the same. Okay, so there's a little bit of stamping. This one here with the 2 pears will work exactly the same. So you'll see me use that later. And then we've got these 3 flowers here, and they've got tiny little flower heads. I suppose I should just stamp those really quickly. Although technically, if the pears have actually come out to fruit, you wouldn't have any pear flowers on there, if that makes any sense. Okay, and we've also got these useful little dots. Let's just grab those. So very quickly, I'm just going to stamp these and the centres. So, oops, I'll pop them on here. And this is the outline. I've got real red to hand. I would normally use probably petal pink or pretty in pink, something like that. And let's put those little centres in. I need to look at which way they probably go. Like that, I think. And they just go in the middle, like so. Oh, they're rather cute little flowers. And there's no infill for those, so you would need to either leave them uncoloured like that, or just grab, so this is a petal pink blends pen. And again, you could do these, this is dark petal pink, you could do these in an outline colour of espresso or a lighter colour. Really, whatever you want to suit your project, like so. And as I said, with the leaves and with the pears, you could just use some green blends pens to colour that in. What have I got to hand? I've got a dark granny apple green, probably a little bit dark for what I would use, but just to show you, I would use the dark for the detail and then the light one to blend out, but on my desk that's all I have, so I'll just go with that. There we go. So lots of different combinations of stamping, colouring, etc. So let's go ahead and make a speedy card. I need to grab my drink. Do excuse me. I made it extra hot so that it would last. Okay, so I'm going to use the postage stamp die, and no, if you know me of old, I lost my postage stamp die set a while ago, and they've never returned, and so I've had to purchase some more. Let me just, I wanted to show you this little dotty. I'm just going to use garden green on here. like so. Hopefully you can see that. I've used it on this one here. But as we know, dotish is useful anyway. Covers a multitude of sins, and it just adds a little bit extra to your project if it's looking a little bit too plain. Right, so what are we going to do? I just wonder whether I might grab a piece of card and stamp some of the pears in the background. I have a super duper new system for my background card. It is just an index, but it makes it a lot easier to keep the colours together. Okay, so this is Lemon Lime Twist. Let's grab the small pears. I'm just going to do this as a background, just the outline, that's all. It's a very cute little stamp. And what colour am I going to do it? Right, let's have a look at Lemon Lime Twist. I do really need a piece of card behind it. I'm going to use my instructions from my class in a box. So this is Lemon Lime Twist on Lemon Lime Twist, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be dark enough, that's fine. So let me lift it up so you can see it. It is quite light, I can see it. I don't know whether you can in the video. So just leaving a gap between them, just keeping to that rule of 3, so any 3 to create a triangle, give or take. Now I've done it like that, but I think I want my pear going that way. Best laid plans. Let's try Old Olive. It's a slightly darker green. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, so I'm keeping these in the same direction. Sometimes I will sort of move the directions round, but this sort of makes sense to keep these the same. So I'm doing that rule of 3, making any 3 into a sort of triangle. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that gives it a nice even look. And you'll want to work sort of from the inside out. Oh, Kerry says you can just see it. Hopefully you can see it now. It might take 2. Okay, I'm going to put that off the end, like so. Hopefully you can see that one a bit better. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment maybe at the top. And this has got, congratulations, a good friend is a gift, which is really nice. A thank you, hello and friend. So I'm going to go for a good friend is a gift. And I'm going to pop this up on the right hand side. Like so, and I think I'm going to use that Old Olive. Just going to stamp this first because I haven't used, as I say, I haven't used this set. I've got to watch out because I've got ink on my fingers. Not quite sure how I've got so much red on there. Okay. Good friend is a gift up on the right hand side. And then I'm going to add my pear in here. I think I'm going to do it without the outline. Decisions. So let's bring that. So I'm going to be using this one here. Could have smaller ones next to it as well. I'm going to clean this off. And I could also do some masking. Let's have this at an angle. So there's my bottom layer. That is in Lemon Lime Twist. And let's add the right one. Yeah. A little bit of Old Olive around this edge. So if you haven't got our sponge daubers, you could use a sponge, you could use blending brushes, you could, if you have a small ink pad, just sort of tap it along the edge. Okay, let's pop this one on. And because I haven't got an outline, I'm not quite so worried. Okay, so there's that really pretty effect. Let's add a little bit of red, and I'm going to do that across this piece again. Now I just happen to have real red in front of me, but I would probably go for something slightly more strawberry maybe. Okay, so I'm not doing this one at the same time as the other. Those sponge daubers are so old, I can't tell you. Okay, so just adding that little bit of blush across there, like so. Okay, let's add our stalk, and I'm going to give that the same treatment. I just need to see it. No. Oh, I buried it underneath the sentiment. Okay. So this is going to go on like so. Like this. And I'm just going to let this go off the left of my piece here. So Lemon Lime Twist first. So I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I had a somewhat unexpectedly busy weekend. Well, Saturday wasn't unexpected, but Sunday was. Okay, and let's do the same treatment, a little bit of Old Olive across here. So sponge dauber is quite a good way, if you haven't got a particularly light colour, you've only got dark colours, use a sponge dauber because you're adding less ink to your stamp. Okay, just going to stamp this one on top. Like so. And actually I want a little bit more detail on the top, I've decided, because that pear is a little bit too light. So I'm just going to do the same on the very top of that pear with the Old Olive. just to make that sort of connection, really. Because I've only inked up that part of it, I'm not worried about it. That's better. You know, going over anything else. Okay, I think a little bit of dottage, and I want something across the bottom just to attach it to something. So I've got a little bit of dottage here. This is Old Olive, like so. Could even put a little bit on those leaves, you know. Let's do that. And I can do that with this. So I only want a little bit on there. There we go. You can see that detail on there. I'll do the same again. Not going to I don't need to re-ink this, just put a little bit on there to add it, like so. Okay, I just want to put a bit of shade underneath that, so ideally, let me just see what I've got. Pen-wise. I'm thinking soft sea foam or something like that. Let's try it on here. Like so. Yeah, that will work. This is dark soft sea foam, but you could use anything. You could use crumb cake, something like that. Like that. Okay, I think I might just leave it like that. I could have done with a smaller one of these. I wonder if I might trim it down. Only because I want to see more of the pears, really. What do we think? I could trim it and layer it onto a piece of Mossy Meadow or something. I just happen to have a piece of Mossy Meadow here. I think I might do that. So I am actually going to cut this beautiful die cut down, just so it hasn't got quite so much white space. I know, it seems a bit of a shame. And take the top off. Could leave the bottom. No. It's coming off, sorry folks. There we go. And actually I'm going to pick I think a piece of Old Olive. So all I'm going to do is just measure this roughly. So this is 7.3 by 10.5. So I normally add on half, so it'll be 7.8 by 11. If you don't want to measure it, you could just pop it onto your card and just do a little pencil mark here and here. That's another option, but I'm happy with that. There we go. So I don't know if you've got this set, Kerry. Yes, I'm happy with that. And that's all going to go onto a white card. And I'll just do it straight portrait. No, I didn't lose my sentiment. I got away with it. It was only the edges that I took off. So scoring that at 10.5 for us here, or anybody who uses standard A4 cardstock. Okay, so there's my base card. This layer is going to go on there with some adhesive. So yesterday afternoon I had lots of plans of things that I was going to get done, but I was called out on a local search and rescue that I belong to, looking for a missing dog that had gone missing on Saturday at our local, one of our local service stations. And so I was out there 6 hours, and sadly we haven't located him as of yet, so I'll be back there this evening if we haven't had any luck beforehand. So it was a lovely day to be out searching, a little bit hot for sure, and it was just a shame that we haven't located him yet. But we will have drones up later on, thermal drones we use, to help. So I certainly got my steps in yesterday. I did about 6 miles in total. It was through the pretty countryside, for sure. Okay, so scraps of dimensionals going on these edges. There we are. That will do. That's that one finished. Put that on, and I might stamp the little pears on the inside as well. Oh, Charming Day. It's nice, that one, isn't it? That was our stamp set for our class in a box last month. Okay, just going to put this just a little bit high of centre, but not much. Okay, that doesn't look very straight. Does it look straight to you? Let's try that again. That looks better. There we go. Now I do have some nice green bling. There is some nice coloured embellishments that go with this. Let's just add, let's just add those little pears on the inside. And what colour did you use for that? Old Olive. Oh, thank you, Kerry. Yeah, it was actually quite a sad situation, so I won't explain it online, but if anybody wants to know. Fingers crossed we find him. Okay. And I'm going to, yes, just going to infill those really quickly. There we are. And I could put hello friend on the inside as well to go with that sentiment. But so lemon lime twist. Or shall I leave it? Decisions. I've inked it up now. I'm going to use it. Cute. I don't know why they didn't add a stamp for the infill of the leaves, because they've got the infill for the pears. But that's okay. I'm happy with that. Job done. Okay. Oh, bling. If I can see it just a hand. Oh, this garden green. Oh, I've got those. Those are rather nice. This is what I was thinking of for these ones here. My gems need a sort out yet again. So these are called shades of green hexagons, and I'm thinking that would work perfectly. I think these came with the I want to say the turtle set. So we've got 2 sizes in shades of green and blue. Let's just grab so they're all self-adhesive. Let's have a lighter one. 2, and then a darker one to balance it. Maybe I'll balance it there. There we go. There we are. I hope you can see that okay. I will clear away my mountain of products on my right hand side, so it's not quite so shaded on the right, but I hope you like it. So our stamp set of the week, Perfectly Pears, and the papers are Painterly Pears. So I better update my title because our stamp set of the week is Perfectly Pears. So thank you so much for joining me. Love the papers. You'll be seeing more of those. I'll be back Wednesday morning this week with a new kit, and Thursday evening with some more. I'll probably introduce the papers and the dies for our Thursday evening session. So off to finish my coffee and then get off out and about. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do take care. I'll keep you posted with the dog rescue, and I look forward to catching up with you all really soon. Thank you, and bye for now.